Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Our eastern counties still seeing some fog right now. I'll show you the dense fog advisory. We'll take a look at some of the cameras and let you know what the conditions will be like when you head out.
Also here in the 8 o'clock hour, false alarm. Classes are canceled today at UNCW after reports of someone with a gun on campus. The message to students after an hours-long shelter in place.
And game day security, another week of high school football in Edgecombe County, just 1 week after a shooting. The permanent changes on the way for people headed out to games. I mean, obviously, they have to tighten up security, but I know that people are excited for Friday night football, and we're going to have good weather for it. I'm Destiny Patterson. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Ken Smith. Let's go ahead and get back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Tracking some patchy fog here and there.
Yeah, it's definitely not everywhere. You can see where the dense fog advisory is right up the I-95 corridor, and that's definitely where we've seen most of the fog this morning. When we're looking for fog, it's quarter-mile visibility or less. We're still seeing that in Clinton, but in Goldsboro and Rocky Mount, where it's been pretty foggy so far to start with today, visibility has now jumped from a quarter mile to half a mile, and we're looking pretty clear from Roxborough to Durham to Raleigh to Southern Pines. This is a look at our Garner Tower, definitely seeing the leading edge of this patch of fog beginning to erode a little bit, so more and more sunshine there in eastern Wake County, but a lot of fog remains here in Wilson. 65 in the Triangle with a dew point of 63. Now, all this fog and low cloud cover should dissipate before lunchtime. That leaves us with a hot afternoon and a high around 90 degrees. We take a quick look at the tropics, still tracking Gabrielle. It looks a little stronger than it did yesterday. It's still likely to stay off the coast of the United States and Bermuda. I'll show you why coming up.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, congestion is really beginning to ease to the east of Raleigh. We're talking specifically about Highway 64 westbound lanes near Edgemont Road. There was a crash here just about an hour and a half ago that shut down at least one lane, but you can see both lanes are open, but we're still seeing some lingering delays stretching all the way back almost to Highway 96 here in Zebulon. You can see things are definitely beginning to clear up just a bit. So this is what it looks like on our live traffic sensor this morning in terms of what you're looking at. Boy, this line used to be fire red. Now it's a little bit of yellow, which means things are definitely clearing up there in those westbound lanes of Highway 64 coming in from Zebulon and Wendell. So right now you're looking at an 8-minute delay between Highway 96 and Nightdale Boulevard. So, it's getting a little better, but if you're in a rush, you might want to hit Highway 97 as an alternate route. In terms of other routes coming into Raleigh this morning, you're looking at a 5-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest and a 1-minute delay. Once you get past that situation in Wendell and Zebulon, just a 1-minute delay out of Nightdale. Situation beginning to jam up a little bit. Coming in from Chapel Hill, you're looking at an 8-minute delay. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown between I-85 and the Highway 70 interchange. So you're coming in from Hillsborough, you're looking at a 10-minute delay. But other than that, other major routes, relatively delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news, crews are making progress to restore power in Johnston County. As many as 3,000 people were without electricity this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker near Flowers Parkway and NC 42. Power in that area started coming back on within the last hour. And just in the next 30 minutes, we're expecting an update from UNC Wilmington after last night's campus-wide lockdown. An alert went out because of unconfirmed reports that a person with a gun was on campus. Students were sent a shelter-in-place order around 7 o'clock. You're looking at it there. UNCW gave the all clear, saying it was a false alarm. Classes and exams are canceled for today.
High school football returns in Edgecombe County tonight, 1 week after a shooting at Southwest Edgecombe High School game. WRAL's Sean Gallagher live at Tarboro High School this morning. And Sean, there will be heavy presence from law enforcement throughout the evening.
Yeah, that's for sure, Ken. And just to give you an idea, if the law enforcement deputies who will be here were on the field, they'd get flagged for too many men on the field. They'll have 12 deputies at Tarboro's game and every other football game across the county as part of this effort to avoid an incident like we saw last week. That's doubling their normal 6. One of the many changes parents and students could see at football games here and around the county. The hope is to avoid another terrifying scene like this. Kids scattering from Southwest Edgecombe's football field last week after that shooting that injured 2 teens. Superintendent Andy Bryan says they started working with law enforcement immediately after the game and all week to come up with a safety game plan. On top of more deputies, Bryan says they'll have more lighting, weapons detection systems, and metal detectors, where they'll be focusing on pregame, endgame, and postgame with an emphasis on the exits and entrances with even more security. And what you see tonight is what you should expect moving forward.
These changes we're talking about are permanent changes. And I would say that as we continue to review the safety procedures and processes we have in place, there might be even more changes as we go through. And we're going to try to make sure that we are safe and our spectators are safe and our student athletes are safe.
A 17-year-old is being charged in that shooting from last week with attempted first-degree murder, among some other charges as well. Law enforcement says that was an isolated incident, but the district is taking this very seriously. That's why they're implementing all of these precautions to try and prevent something like this from happening again. In Edgecombe County, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Thanks, Sean. New this morning, we now know that country music songwriter Brett James was killed in this plane crash in western North Carolina. Brett was one of 3 people aboard when it crashed near an elementary school in Macon County. There were no survivors. The plane was on its way to the Macon County Airport from Nashville, Tennessee. Federal investigators will be on that scene today looking for a cause. James is best known for writing Jesus Take the Wheel for Carrie Underwood.
What a devastating loss for the country music industry. Well, a public memorial will be held today for Erica Lewis. She's a former Wake County principal and the wife of Wake Forest High School football coach. A visitation and celebration of life were held yesterday afternoon. Lucas died 2 weeks ago after she was shot at a home in Wake Forest. Police say she was not the intended target. Today's memorial will be at Friendship Baptist Church from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. this evening.
Happening today, this NCDOT employee that you see on your screen will appear before a judge. Brian Mayhew is accused of breaking into a couple's Raleigh home and planting a camera. Warren Show Mayhew has been charged with felony secret peeping and breaking and entering. This stems from a break-in on Monday morning on Lionel Lane. Mayhew is now out on bond. He wouldn't answer our questions when we knocked on his door. This is at least the 4th secret peeping arrest in Wake County in the last month. Neighbors tell us they're uneasy after hearing about Mayhew's charges.
Just surprising. I don't know what to say. I can't believe that happened. If somebody's going to break into your house, there's not much you can do if you're not home or anything like that. And I don't know what I would do. That's scary.
Now, NCDOT says Mayhew has been placed on leave.
A man accused of stealing a woman's car and kidnapping her child already had pending charges against him. You see him right here. Tyler Tootle was under an active protective order against the child's mother, Candace Fargas. He was facing charges of assault and domestic violence against her. Tootle was at the center of a statewide Amber Alert Wednesday. He's accused of jumping into Fargas's running car and the child in the back seat in Randolph County. He then drove 2 hours away. Tootle spoke briefly with WRAL after his court appearance.
Tyler, anything you want to say to the mother of that child, to Candace?
No, ma'am, I love my daughter, and that is my daughter, legally.
Well, the mother says he's an ex-boyfriend, not the biological father, nor does he have legal custody. Tootle is being held on $1 million bond.
This local attorney here is expected to be in court next month. Police say he embezzled more than $3 million from his own law firm and clients he represented. Corey Kiger faces charges for embezzlement and exploitation. Kiger was partner at Walker Kiger, private law firm in Johnston County. At the time, officials say these crimes happened. His former partner, Steve Walker, says he was the one who discovered discrepancies in Kiger's trust account, and then he reported it to the state bar. A CDC committee voted to change recommendations for a combination measles vaccine in children. The vaccine, called MMRV, includes protection against measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox. The advisory committee is no longer recommending it for kids under 4. The reason, it says there's a small risk for seizures in younger kids. Instead, it advised the younger group receive 2 separate vaccines, the MMR vaccine or the varicella or chickenpox vaccine. The CDC would have to approve the recommendations, but there's not a permanent one right now.
Today is 919 Day here in the Triangle, and a big party is planned tonight at NC State's Centennial campus. The local holiday observance, I should say, happens every September 19th, a nod to the local area code. The celebration in Raleigh will include live music, food trucks, and local vendors. A local name is scheduled to perform, Raleigh native Jason Adamo. He spoke with WRAL's Laura Levine right here in the 9 o'clock hour on Fox 50 about playing to a hometown crowd.
It's an amazing opportunity that station, 95.7, gives us to come onto the campus at NC State to perform locally and celebrate the rich talent that North Carolina, especially the Triangle area, offers.
What an incredible night of live music ahead tonight at NC State Centennial campus. Gates open at 5 with music starting around 6 p.m. Now, picnic baskets and lawn chairs are welcome, but no pets or outside alcohol allowed.
Free speech concerns. Journalists, celebrities, and fans are reacting to Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, the new demand from one of the broadcast companies that's no longer airing his show.
And bus drivers for hire. Several school districts in our area are looking to fill positions where you should go if you're interested.
And we had some fog this morning in our eastern counties. It's slowly starting to dissipate, but a lot of our area is seeing sunshine, and it will be a very hot afternoon. I'll show you why our last weekend of summer will definitely feel like it. 8:14, we take a live look at Carolina Beach, where it looks gorgeous. There will be no direct impacts from Tropical Storm Gabrielle on our coast over the weekend. And it's going to feel like summer all up and down the beaches. This is a look at our forecast for tomorrow. Mid-80s for Riceville and Topsail. All on the Outer Banks, temperatures will be in the mid-70s. And then same thing again on Sunday, looking absolutely beautiful, nice and dry, feeling like summer out there. So it is officially the last weekend of summer, so maybe you want to head to the beach. There is a low rip current danger to moderate just north of Wilmington, so keep that in mind. Always check before you head out. But again, no real impact from our tropical storm sitting off the coast. In Boone, we're looking at lovely conditions. Notice not a whole lot of color right in Boone, but if you head to some of the higher elevations over the weekend, you'll see some nice color around Grandfather Mountain and north of Asheville.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we got a crash causing some congestion on I-40 eastbound. We're talking about one lane blocked right near around Highway 55 there in the RTP area. It's stretching all the way back to Highway 751. You might want to take Highway 54 is an alternate route this morning. Things are definitely beginning to ease on those westbound lanes of Highway 64 westbound coming in right there at Edgemont Road in Wendell, because there was a situation where we were seeing quite a bit of congestion because of a crash that has since cleared. But in terms of other routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 4-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning, just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Knightdale.
Thanks, Ken. A Pennsylvania community is mourning after 3 officers were killed in the line of duty. People gathered at a vigil last night to pay respect to those officers. All 3 of them worked at the Northern York County Regional Police Department, and we now know their names: Cody Becker, Mark Baker, and Isaiah Emmenheiser. 2 other officers were also hurt. The suspect was killed during that shooting.
Protests from fans and a pushback from prominent political figures after Jimmy Kimmel was suspended by ABC. Demonstrators were gathered outside the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles yesterday. The venue for Kimmel's late night show, that's where it happens. Kimmel was pulled off the air over comments he made about the suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting. Speaking on Air Force One, President Trump supported the decision, suggesting certain networks should have licenses revoked.
They're 97% against. They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
So
Opponents of the suspension are calling this a free speech issue. Former late-night host Jay Leno and journalist Chris Wallace reacted to news on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday.
Yes. Look, I'm a huge proponent of free speech, please. I'm on Jimmy Kimmel's side on that.
I think that we just have to realize how important free speech is, and you know, people talk about hate speech, or if it's not inciting violence, it's all protected.
Almost 2 years since.
Television group Sinclair calling for an apology from Kimmel and demands he make a donation to Turning Point USA, the organization that Kirk founded, before it airs his show again.
Johnson County is looking for more bus drivers. You could also take a dual role as a driver, teacher's assistant, custodian, or school nutrition employee. The hourly rate is starting at nearly $19 an hour, and you'll also get paid CDL training and overtime opportunities. If you're interested, you can apply on the district's website. Wake County is also looking for more bus drivers. A new report shows more than 300 vacancies. The school system says it needs 940 drivers. That means 35% of the necessary positions are empty. In terms of other positions, there are 148 open teacher positions and 116 instructional assistant positions.
Time is 8:18 here on the WRAL Live Center. Keeping an eye on an update regarding President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping set to hold a talk regarding TikTok and our tariff war between our countries at about 9 o'clock this morning. So, just shy about 42 minutes from now. There is supposed to be some sort of agreement that comes into play here regarding what will happen next with that platform being accessible to Americans. You may recall there was that deadline to have it either sold to from its Chinese parent company to an American buyer, but that's kind of been pushed back in terms of deadlines. But again, 9 o'clock this morning, a call is supposed to be had between the two presidents. What will come from that call? We'll be watching for that here on the WRAL Live Center.
Celebrating cultures from around the world and learning more about the world of bugs.
Yeah, it's time to take a look at WRAL Out and About's Weekend Best Bets. For fall, a tradition in the Triangle will be celebrating 10 years. Asia Fest draws thousands to Cocoa Booth Amphitheater in Cary. Tomorrow, you can explore nearly 100 exhibits and activities, sample delicious food, and cheer on the Dragon Boat Race. WRAL's Renee Chu will MC the main stage, and today at 9:20 on Fox 50 right here, we will hear from one of the organizers of this event. WRAL is a proud media partner.
Sounds so fun. The International Festival at the State Fairgrounds kicks off tomorrow as well. That event will include authentic food, live music, and handcrafted items and clothing from around the world. That event runs from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., so plenty of time to get out there.
Absolutely. Well, the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences celebrating bugs tomorrow. Bugfest will immerse people in the world of arthropods. There will be hands-on activities and more than 100 exhibits, and you can even eat bugs if you dare. Local chefs will serve up dishes prepared with insects. For more on the weekend fun, go to WRAL.com and search Out and About.
It's the perfect weather to be able to go out and enjoy some of these events. I mean, of course, it's going to be hot, so you're going to want to make sure that you've got some water with you. Elizabeth Gardner joining us now from the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we're looking at a really nice weekend around here. We just talked about our beach forecast. It's going to be a wonderful weekend to head to the beach or the mountains. You may be wondering, well, what about Gabrielle? It is still way offshore. It's not going to be something that has an impact this weekend on the coast of North Carolina. Even rip current danger, if we see it, wouldn't be related to Gabrielle. It has winds at 50 miles per hour, moving northwest at 12. It takes that northerly curve well before it heads close to the United States. It does move just past Bermuda, but it stays on the eastern side of Bermuda. That means Bermuda is not on the side of the storm that tends to bring the most damage. So that's all good news. It's not likely that Gabrielle will cause problems on land, at least not very much. You can see this high pressure system helping to spin the storm around and away from the United States. So that high pressure system will help to keep it away from us, along with a front or two that will come off the coast of the United States. What we'll be dealing with here is some summer heat in the Triangle. Temperature at 90 this afternoon. For tomorrow, upper 80s to around 90. Lots of sunshine. Not really looking at much of a chance for rain. Now, Saturday night into early Sunday, we'll see a weak front that drops through. That's going to bring us some cooler temperatures for Sunday, but it still looks like we'll stay rain-free. This morning, our big story has been the potential for fog. It looks like that's beginning to diminish a little bit. We still have the dense fog advisory in effect along the I-95 corridor. We have a look at Carolina Beach, which looks absolutely beautiful. Clinton and Rocky Mount still showing quarter-mile or less visibility, so watch out in those areas. It looks like it's improving a little bit there in Goldsboro at half-mile visibility. Here's what happens Saturday night. We're going to see that front dipping southward. Could be some rain up into Virginia, but it doesn't look like we see any rain with this. What this will do instead is deliver some cooler temperatures. Now, we definitely need some rain. We are dry all the way through until Tuesday, and we are looking for the first time since May at some moderate drought in our southern and eastern counties. It does look like we have the potential for some wetter weather in the next 6 to 10 days, but that's still a ways off. Monday's our first day of fall, and at this point, it looks like our next chance of rain doesn't come until next Thursday.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We have a real troubled spot on I-40 eastbound near Highway 55 there in the RTP area. You can see the huge delays it's causing all the way back to Highway 751. So here's what it looks like on a live traffic map this morning, or traffic camera, I should say. This I-40 NC 55. You can see it's really in the median there, and traffic is getting through. And people are adhering to the move over law, moving over one lane to give law enforcement an opportunity to work that crash scene safely. I'll have an update coming up shortly.
Thanks, Ken. Justice system changes, the improvements that Governor Josh Stein is looking for after the deadly train stabbing in Charlotte. And groundbreaking research. Duke Health is helping people suffering from spinal cord injuries, why officials say this could lead to safer care.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Your time now is 8:26. I'm Destiny Patterson. Here's meteorologist Elizabeth Garner. We're looking at some summer-like temperatures.
We are. Temperatures are nice and mild this morning in the mid-60s. We're seeing sunny skies in Durham and Fayetteville and across most of the viewing area, but we still have some pockets of fog in eastern parts of our viewing area, including Wilson and down toward Goldsboro. 63 currently in Wilson. We take a look at that visibility. Clinton's also down below a quarter of a mile. Goldsboro a half a mile. Rocky Mount a quarter of a mile. Anywhere along that I-95 corridor. Just be on the lookout for some patchy fog, but it shouldn't last too much longer. We take a live look at Chapel Hill. A little bit of cloud cover showing up here, but lots of sunshine in our forecast for today. It will be hot if you're headed outside. Temperatures in the 90s this afternoon.
Elizabeth, we're monitoring some delays happening on I-40 eastbound right around Highway 55 because of this crash. You can see it's the inner lane is closed right there by the median as a result of first responders working that crash. People adhering to the move over law, which is really good news, giving law enforcement an opportunity to safely work that crash. This is what it looks like on a live traffic sensor this morning. It's a situation where that delay is stretching all the way back to 751 this morning. So you might want to take Highway 54 as an alternate route. I'll have an update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
The Edgecombe County Sheriff says more deputies will be at Friday night football games. This comes after a shooting at last week's Southwest Edgecombe game that hurt 2 teenagers. The teen charged in that shooting is set to be in court next week. A public memorial will be held for Erica Lucas today. She's a former Wake County principal and the wife of Wake Forest High School's football coach. Lucas died after she was shot at a home in Wake Forest. Today's memorial will be at Friendship Chapel Baptist Church from 6 to 7 p.m. Next on Fox 50, a country music songwriter is dead in a North Carolina plane crash.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And we have a dense fog advisory in effect in our eastern counties. The fog is beginning to dissipate in some places. I'll let you know what it will look like as you're heading out the door.
Also, false alarm. Any minute now, we're expected to get an update from UNC Wilmington officials after false reports of a gunman on campus. What the university is doing to help students still on edge.
And heightened security, fans returning for high school football in Edgecombe County tonight. What people will see just 1 week after a shooting at a game. Thanks for joining us. I'm Destiny Patterson.
And I'm Ken Smith. And of course, we're going into the weekend.
That's right.
Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, tracking how our weekend is going to shape up.
And we're starting off this morning with some patchy fog from Smithfield to Goldsboro northward on up toward Roanoke Rapids. It's still a little bit foggy in some places. Rocky Mountain, Wilson, still fairly foggy. Goldsboro has moved to half a mile visibility. If we're seeing fog, it's typically a quarter mile. It's below quarter of a mile in Clinton right now. So still some pockets out there that you may run into, but it looks like from the Triangle area westward, all is clear. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh right now from the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, where they're hosting Bug Fest tomorrow, which is a very fun event if you're looking for something to do tomorrow. Wilson still stuck under the clouds, 65 degrees heading out the door right now, but with the sunshine that breaks out through the afternoon, it's going to be a hot one with a high of 90 degrees. I'll show you how long that will last coming up. But right here is a look at Gabrielle. It is a tropical storm, but could still become a hurricane by the end of the weekend. I'll show you why it's likely to stay so far off of the United States. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, we're following a troubled spot right now on I-40 eastbound. We're talking about right there at Highway 55. This is in the RTP area of Durham this morning. You can see the delays that it's causing in that particular area. Highway 54 might be your best bet in terms of what's happening there. This is what's happening. This crash right here in the median, you can see one inner lane is closed, really causing some backups in those eastbound lanes of I-40. But again, Highway 54 is your best bet in terms of getting around that. In terms of other routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 5-minute delay. If you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning, we can see a little bit of a slowdown there on that southern loop of the Beltline starting around Lake Wheeler Road. But once you get past Gorman Street, it's clear sailing as well. Just 1 minute coming in from Nightdale, so things are getting better in that area. Now, here's the thing with that crash that we're seeing. You're looking at a 25-minute delay if you're coming in from Chapel Hill on I-40 eastbound this morning. So keep that in mind. Use that Highway 54 alternate route if you can. If you're coming in from Wake Forest into Durham using Highway 98, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car. Traffic is constantly changing. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
High school football returns in Edgecombe County tonight, 1 week after a shooting at Southwest Edgecombe game. Ahead of tonight's game, authorities are increasing security for the safety of fans, coaches, and players. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live in Tarboro this morning. Sean, there will be more deputies there tonight.
Yeah, Destiny, it's going to be many more. If they were on the field, they would get a flag for too many men because Edgecombe County is increasing from 6 to 12 deputies. That's not just here in Tarboro. That will be at every Friday night football game across Edgecombe County. These efforts are to try to help parents and students feel safer at these games after what happened last week. And if you missed it, you may have seen this video at some point. A terrifying scene where kids were scattering from Southwest Edgecombe's football field after that shooting that injured 2 teens. Superintendent Andy Bryant says they started working with law enforcement immediately after the game and all week, really, to come up with a safety game plan. On top of more deputies, Bryant says they will have more lighting, weapons detection systems, and metal detectors with a focus on pregame, endgame, and postgame. They'll also have an emphasis on the exits and entrances with even more security in those spots. And what they see tonight is what they should expect moving forward.
This is not just about football. This is about all of our athletic venues, all of our sports, and we are making sure that we meet on a weekly basis to address those various issues.
17-year-old Jamarian Hinton has been charged with attempted first-degree murder along with some other charges as well. Law enforcement says this was an isolated incident, but the district is not taking this lightly. They're going to have all of these precautions in place moving forward to try to prevent something like this from happening again. In Edgecombe County, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Thanks, Sean. Speaking of safety and security, a lockdown happened yesterday at Jordan High School in Durham. Take a look. You're seeing video from the school yesterday afternoon. This wasn't long after students were let out for the day. A student told someone there might be a gun on campus, according to district leaders. A lockdown was put in place for less than an hour. To be clear, no weapons were found and no one was hurt.
Happening today, family and friends, community members as well, gathering to remember Erica Lucas. Lucas, a former Wake County principal and the wife of Wake Forest High School's head football coach, died 2 weeks ago. Ali Kadlabar is at Friendship Chapel Baptist Church in Wake Forest, where people can go today to pay their respects.
Erica Lucas died more than a week after she was shot. And today, the community will gather here at Friendship Chapel Baptist Church to remember her. Many share memories of her as the former Roseville High School principal. She served Wake County Public Schools for 30 years, and she was the wife of the head football coach at Wake Forest High School. 2 teenagers are accused of shooting Lucas at a Wake Forest home last month. Police say she was not the target. Both have been charged with murder. A celebration of life and visitation were held yesterday, and today that public memorial will be here at 6 p.m. Again, Friendship Chapel Baptist Church. Organizers say people are welcome to come gather and share stories of her. Reporting in Wake Forest, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Ali, thanks. New this morning, country music songwriter Brett James died in a plane crash in western North Carolina. Brett was one of 3 people aboard when it crashed near an elementary school in Macon County. There were no survivors. The plane was on its way to the Macon County Airport from Nashville, Tennessee. Federal investigators will be on that scene today looking for a cause. James had a hand in writing nearly 500 songs over the course of his career, and that includes songs for Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson.
Well, Governor Josh Stein looking to improve training and accountability for magistrates. He announced after meeting with the family of a woman stabbed to death in Charlotte last month. Irina Zarutska's death started state and national debate over safety in North Carolina. State lawmakers plan to roll out a bill next week to tough on crime changes. Stein said there needs to be more training for those who handle pretrial decisions like bail. He also said it needs to be easier to hospitalize people with mental health issues.
There are reforms that we can do to the involuntary commitment statute in North Carolina. Obviously, we don't want to deprive people of their liberty without thorough due process, but there are times when a person is a real risk to other people or to themselves.
Stein's call for reform was made during a time President Trump is increasing his efforts to send troops into cities he claims are dangerous. More than a dozen former NC State athletes joined a sexual abuse lawsuit against the university. They claim the school failed to protect them. Soccer player Ben Locke filed the federal lawsuit back in 2022. Now 13 additional players have signed on. All of them accuse former director of sports medicine Robert Murphy of inappropriately touching them during treatment. The lawsuit claims former athletic director Debbie Yao was aware of complaints but did not initially launch an investigation. In a text message to the Associated Press, Yao declined to comment and instead deferred to the school. An NC State spokesperson says the university would not comment on pending litigation. The school did eventually look into the situation and found strong evidence Murphy's conduct created an intimidating, threatening, and abusive environment. Current AD Boo Corrigan is also named as a defendant, but because some of the athletes say they were assaulted during his tenure, but there's no mention of Corrigan having direct knowledge about the accusations.
A groundbreaking study from Duke Health is challenging a long-standing medical practice. For decades, doctors have elevated the blood pressure in patients in the first few days of treatment after a spinal cord injury. The hope was to help improve recovery. After 6 months of the study, researchers found no difference in recovery. However, patients treated with elevated blood pressure had more complications. Duke researchers say this discovery could lead to safer, more effective care.
We have data to base our decisions and guide our management. Sometimes it takes more than a trial to change care, but at least for the first time, we can provide some data that could help guiding new way to treat, updated way to treat patients with spinal cord injury.
The updated method could mean fewer invasive procedures for spinal cord injury patients in the ICU. Doctors say the next step is updating clinical guidance to reflect this new evidence.
Time is 8:40. Within the past couple of minutes, we have received a message from the chancellor for UNC Wilmington. This is Aswani Valetti giving an update on where the university is right now after the campus received false reports of a gunman on campus last night. He says now law enforcement are investigating the chain of events that led up to that. He said hundreds of officers responded to campus last night. He says the situation began with anonymous reports of a gunman on campus, and university police tried to validate that threat. And eventually they sent out a campus alert when a report from a credible person was received. They say eventually the campus was cleared. And he says right now is the time to continue investigations to protect campus and ensure safety there. Again, there was no credible threat that was actually found at the end of all of this. And as soon as we get more information in terms of where investigators are trying to figure out where these reports were coming from, we'll report it here on WRAL News.
Coming up next, an active tick season. Environmental experts say an invasive tick is showing up more this year. The conditions allowing those pests to stay around longer.
And it's a foggy start to your weekend, depending on where you are. You can't even see the whirligigs right there in Wilson, how foggy it is, and coupled with some low cloud cover. Ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show us when the fog in some areas will clear and when we could hit the 90s coming up this weekend.
It's 8:44. Some of our eastern counties still dealing with some pretty stubborn fog. You can see that here in Wilson, 63 degrees. But lots of sunshine for Durham and Fayetteville, 65 in Durham, 68 in Fayetteville. Temperatures starting to warm up pretty quickly. When we're looking at visibility for fog, we're looking at quarter mile or less. We still see that in Rocky Mount, Wilson, Goldsboro, and Clinton. So those eastern counties along and east of I-95 still dealing with the foggy conditions. By the time we get to lunchtime, all that fog should dissipate. A lot of areas already beginning to warm up. We'll see a high this afternoon around 90 degrees. You may want to factor that in as you're making plans to be outside later on today. Tomorrow will also be hot, but I'll show you why Sunday we'll see a bit of a cool down coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL traffic center, that situation on I-40 eastbound around Highway 55 in the RTP area. This crash really in the clearing phase. You can see it in the median. Just one lane continues to be closed, and people are adhering to that move over law, giving law enforcement an opportunity to safely work that crash. You can see it right here on our live traffic map. This dating all the way back to 751. Highway 54 is probably your best bet in terms of getting around this situation. I'll have an update in less than 10 minutes.
Thanks, Ken. Health experts warn about a newly introduced tick. The invasive Asian longhorn tick is becoming more widespread. It was first found in New Jersey in 2017. Most Asian longhorn ticks go after livestock, but experts have seen them latch on to people and pets.
Can reproduce without mating. So when she gets her full blood meal, she will produce viable eggs, and those will hatch into larval ticks. So they are very quick spreading.
The tick season is also getting longer. Conditions in the fall are becoming more prime for ticks to stay active. To prevent tick bites, the CDC recommends removing leaf debris from your yard, not venturing into tall grass, and using repellents. Swifties counting down to Life of a Showgirl and a new illusion in theaters this fall.
Yeah, time to look at what's trending, Destiny. But boy, the Swifties very excited. Taylor Swift taking over the airwaves this weekend. Taylor's Channel 13 returns to Sirius XM tomorrow. The station will spotlight every era of her career. Her new album, by the way, Life of a Showgirl, drops October 3rd, by the way, 13 days from now.
I know a lot of people are super excited about that, and you know, I think it's an interesting thing for her fans to be able to see her continue to grow because she's been so popular for so long.
And she's going to continue to be popular.
That's right. I don't think she's going anywhere. The Four Horsemen are returning. The new trailer for Now You See Me, Now You Don't has been released. The Illusionists will be teaming up with young recruits in the new film. The film, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, and Rosamund Pike, hits theaters on November 14th. This is another one of those things that I was kind of surprised that people latched onto. Super cool concept of a movie, though.
Yeah, and the thing is, people like the first one, and they were looking to see what's going to happen next. So we're looking forward to seeing this sequel coming out. So
That's
looking
right.
forward to that. No, the gang of illusionists from New York, you can see now, is back, and the first look at the final season, Outlander. Here's a look from Rick Damigella, the Hollywood Minute.
Two generations of magicians brought together for a reason.
The Four Horsemen return. The illusionists team up with a group of younger recruits for a new heist in Now You See Me, Now You Don't. The franchise's beloved ensemble returns for the sequel, which will appear in theaters starting November 14th.
How many times do you have to watch her shove you in front of a moving train?
A West Wing reunion on The Diplomat. This is your first look at season 3 of the acclaimed drama series, which sees Bradley Whitford join Allison Janney and Kerry Russell. The trio will dig into a web of political deception when the new episodes arrive on Netflix on October 16th.
I'm so scared to lose everything.
It's the end of the road for Outlander. This is a sneak peek at the final season of the time-traveling love story. Fans of the show will see how Claire and Jamie's journey concludes when season 8 premieres on Starz in 2026. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
A piece of boxing and anti-war memorabilia is up for auction. Boxing legend Muhammad Ali was vocal about his opposition to the Vietnam-era military draft. Now, his 1967 unsigned draft card will be for sale. Ali's family says the card is a symbol of the late boxer's message of courage and conviction. The card is expected to cash in anywhere between $3 to $5 million.
Love it. Well, it's one of the biggest community celebrations of the year. We're talking about 919 Day. This year, we're taking the celebration outside of the NC State Centennial campus. There will be food trucks, live music, local vendors. One of those live music performers includes singer and songwriter Jason Adamo.
The trees are moving sideways. Can't see the sun at all.
Man, we had a good time when he was here the other day. This week, the Raleigh native told WRAL's Laura Levine it's an honor to play in front of a hometown crowd again.
It's an amazing opportunity that station, 95.7, gives us to come onto the campus at NC State to perform locally and celebrate the rich talent that North Carolina, especially the Triangle area, offers.
All right, if you want to be part of this celebration, gates open at 5 p.m. and the music starts at 6 p.m. Picnic blankets and lawn chairs are welcome, but no pets or outside alcohol allowed.
Fun week ahead. Week 5 of high school football kicks off tonight. Be sure to tune in to Football Friday tonight at 11:15. We have highlights from games from around the area. You don't want to miss all the hard-hitting high school football action. That's happening tonight right here on WRAL.
And we were wondering if we're going to have football weather. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking a little bit of fog in certain areas.
And we're going to have excellent football weather. A little bit on the warm side, but hey, that's okay. We do still have some stubborn fog left in just part of the viewing area, especially along and east of I-95. Right now in the Triangle, it's 65 degrees, but of course that's a look at Wilson. And boy, that fog just really hasn't started to budge too much yet. We still have the dense fog advisory in effect from Smithfield to Goldsboro, up that I-95 corridor, all the way up toward Roanoke Rapids. But a lot of the viewing area is seeing clear skies. The 10-mile visibility is clear skies, a little bit of low cloud cover in Fayetteville at 3-mile visibility, and quarter-mile visibility or lower would be fog. And so we're seeing that for Rocky Mount, Wilson, Goldsboro, and Clinton. And eventually this is going to clear out. This is a look at Futurecast, and you can definitely see where the fog is showing up here. Notice how quickly it dissipates. Once we get to lunchtime, it should be all out of here. I love it that Lisa Brannick snapped this photo from Norlina of the crescent moon with Venus. If you want to see this tomorrow, Venus is going to be just north of it, but this was so pretty with the two of them close together. We got a lot of photos of that. Thank you for sending those in. Go to WRAL.com/report it. We love to see what's happening in your backyard. Our temperatures are currently mid-60s to almost 70 degrees, and the Triangle 64 in Holly Springs, 66 in Garner and in Rollsville. What's keeping us hot for today is high pressure offshore pushing the warmth in, and a little bit of humidity too. So it's really going to feel like summer this afternoon. 90 in Raleigh and Durham and 93 in Fayetteville. Of course, it is the last weekend of summer. It's going to be warm for Football Friday. Game time temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s, but then dropping into the 70s. And tomorrow, Duke plays NC State at home at 4 o'clock. Still going to be warm at that point, probably low to mid 80s. 90 today, 87 tomorrow, but our normal high is 82, and we'll see that on Sunday and Monday. Monday, of course, is the first day of fall. Checking out what's happening after Monday. It turns a little bit warmer again for the middle of next week. We are dry all the way up until Thursday.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Before we go to break, here's a look at your NC Education winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic coming up next.